emerging trends that are not helpful to the movement. At Libre, I mainly work with Latino youths, so under the age of 27, sometimes Black youth, recently immigrated youths. And I think one of the most disturbing trends that I'm seeing growing is this tendency to eat our own, the bones and all, in front of each other and in public. And this growing trend of making money off of selling outrage in the public sphere. And that's particularly, it's hurting our image. We're talking about brand with the youth, with these demographics that are growing. By 2050, 1/3 of the adult population in the United States is going to be Hispanic. When 9/10 of the media coming from the right that they see is screaming shamnesty, they're likely to turn off the television or switch to MSNBC. That's just the reality of it. So an emerging trend that I think that we need to address and figure out how to balance our beliefs without watering them down, how to stay true to our principles without backing down from them, is then how do we market that and communicate that in a way that isn't going to end the conversation before it starts. However, so as not to be a complete downer, working with the youth that I see all the time, I am seeing an increased distrust of government, which I think there was a poll released not too long ago, it was yesterday, saying the majority of the youths in America have some kind of distrust for the government. And Hispanics start businesses at 3 times the national average. So you're seeing, a lot of Hispanics are embracing the message of economic freedom if we can get it to them, which is the biggest problem still, that we're not getting our message out into these demographics.
Great. Alice?
Well, I am just a opinionated Texas mom who has been looking at the ground level, from a grassroots Tea Party level, of what's going on, what moms and dads are saying, what's going on in education. You know, a lot of these issues that we're talking about, that we're trying to figure out why the left owns the narrative on gun rights, immigration, environmentalism, if you actually look at the curriculum of what's being taught to our children in K through 12, they're working against us during the week when our kids are at school. And so as a mom who's been involved in the grassroots, who's been involved in empowering people at the local level to be the media to expose what's going on in their own community, we're asking moms and dads to go into their schools and say, can I see? Can I see the curriculum? Can I see the management system that you're using to capture data on my child, on their assessments, and looking at these issues at a very local level. I don't believe we're going to elect someone to save us. I think we're going to save ourselves. And the only way to save ourselves is to get educated on the issues and talk about them truthfully and honestly. You know, a lot of these issues, for everyday moms and dads who aren't political nuts like us, they can keep their head in the sand, you know, on immigration, on transportation, on the budget, because it's not affecting them personally yet. Education is different. When you're dealing with your child who was a straight A student and now through the changes in education are coming home and, you know, they're failing or they're disillusioned or they're coming home talking about things that you're completely opposed to, you can't keep your head in the sand. And so I think that this issue of what's going on in education, the whole Common Core philosophy of education, it's just not a set of standards, it's a whole philosophy of education we need to take serious and look at, and obviously it's not a left against right issue, because you have people like Mike Huckabee and Bill Bennett who are for Common Core, you have the left who's for Common Core, so I don't think it's a Republican-Democrat thing, it's an American thing.
And for the record, I would encourage anybody to go out and see the video that has gone viral over the past 4 or 5 days. There's a father essentially at a Common Core discussion in Baltimore, and he just is asking questions and he's arrested. They haul him out, mean, he was not being abusive at all. It's very interesting, and it really seems to have ignited a lot of folks online. Interesting issue. We'll come back to it. And speaking of technology and, how things get communicated